So if I win, I want to sleep in the trailer. Deal,
all right,
deal.
good.
What's up guys, Harris Heller here. Today we're in San Bruno, California, checking out the YouTube offices and talking fan funding with YouTube's VP of Engineering, Scott Silver. Is this your trailer?
This is mine, I live here.
Yeah. That seems like it'd be really comfortable to sleep in.
I don't think that the mattress is very wide though, so maybe just, I wouldn't insist on sleeping there for hours and hours. I'd be worried about that.
So where are we?
We're at YouTube headquarters. This is where at least the software magic is made, not the video magic.
Can you, in your own words, can you explain what fan funding is?
Sure. I mean, the general idea behind fan funding is just what it sounds like, which is viewers directly funding creators, their favorite creators in various ways. And of course, it's a way for creators to create a community with viewers. And that's the basic idea. The other thing is about fan funding that we think is really important is that it's different from the other ways in which creators can make money. So we think it's a different way for them to directly connect with their audience.
Do you mind me asking, what's on YouTube's roadmap to improve fan funding for creators and I guess for viewers?
Sure. So there are a couple of things going on. So one is we've been trying to extend fan funding to all of the different formats that is YouTube. So from VOD to live to shorts. And so we've been working on that for the last year or so. The other thing we've been doing is working on rolling out super thanks broadly across YouTube. And then finally, the thing we just announced, let's see, it's October. So last month, the thing we announced is that we wanted to make fan funding available to more creators so they didn't have to have as many viewers, for example, in order to get access to fan funding.
Lowering that barrier of entry a little bit. That was a really cool announcement.
Yeah, we've been thinking about that for a really long time and just figuring out how to do it. Spent a lot of time figuring that out, and once we were ready, we announced it. We're pretty excited about it.
I know whenever I talk to my audience about like starting on YouTube and monetizing on YouTube, that's their biggest thing. Like the barrier of entry, it's so hard. So that was
hard to make.
Everyone was super pumped about that.
Good. Well, that was the intent. Like that's how we thought about it.
Those are all really cool features. Like what do they mean though? Like what does it change for the creators in general?
Sure. So I think what it does is, first of all, it gives them another revenue stream.
The diversification of those revenue
exactly.
streams.
I mean, any good business, I mean, look, I don't mean to go all business on you, but I know you
Please
are.
do,
I know
yeah.
you care about this. But like at the end of the day, like any good business has multiple streams of revenue. I myself wouldn't want to be a creator with just advertising. I'd love to have different kinds of fan funding. And so as a part of that, I'd love to have channel memberships. And of course, I'd love to have advertising revenue. And that way, as things ebb and flow, I have different sources of revenue. The other thing that we think is pretty neat about fan funding is that it's a direct way that your viewers can support their favorite creators. And in many ways, just like when you go to a local store and you go buy something from the hardware store instead of going to a large big box retailer, you're going to your local store, the people you really love, and to support them. And we think that's another great thing about fan funding. The other part is that fan funding can be used by a creator to create a community around helping this creator, around being noticed, for example, in chats or things like that.
There is always a sense of pride of the creators that you do support like that.
Yeah,
I know I felt it.
Yeah, I mean, I support a bunch of creators. It's the best money I've ever spent.
Who's your longest membership with?
Oh, that's a good one. Let me think. It's probably Everyday Astronaut.
Everyday Astronaut?
Do you know Everyday Astronaut?
I got some Googling to do when I get home.
All right,
so
good.
Some YouTubing to do.
Yeah, I'm a big space dork, so Everyday Astronaut, I'm a big fan of.
I'm gonna look them up. Everyday Astronaut. Mental note.
Okay, good.
What's YouTube's priority? Like why is YouTube investing in these fan funding features?
Yeah, so the reason why we're investing in fan funding features is because we think it's good for creators and we think that viewers love them. At the end of the day, what we do at YouTube all the time is we go and figure out what viewers want, we go figure out what creators want, and we try to figure out the intersection of those two things. And fan funding is something we directly heard, obviously from creators, but also from viewers or their fans. And so by building these kinds of features, we're not pushing something, we're not trying to sell something, we're really offering tools that some creators will use because they feel that connection with their fans, and some fans will use because they feel that connection with their creators. And the beauty, of course, of fan funding is that it completes the virtuous cycle, which I think is the magic of YouTube, which is that when creators put stuff on YouTube, viewers have stuff to watch, and then if creators can get paid for making that stuff, they'll make more stuff. Mm-hmm. And everyone is in a good place.
It's pretty incredible that the opportunity to build a business and just how radically large it is to actually run a business on this platform. I started making YouTube videos in 2006. Wow. And so just seeing the transformation over the last 16 years.
2006 was incredibly
Yeah, I was
early.
in my dorm room playing guitar for a little point and shoot.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
I didn't
amazing.
make any money off of that though.
Yeah.
They didn't have fan funding back then.
We didn't have fan funding. Did we even have an advertising program in 2006?
No, not for another 6 years or so.
Okay, right on.
How would you say fan funding plays into the larger goal of YouTube's communities?
Fan funding can be used in a few different ways. So like, let me think of two examples. One, John Campy, he does movie reviews, for example. And I think what's really great about this is he uses fan funding through super chats to be able to highlight the kinds of things that people want to talk about in the live Q&A for his live streams. I think it's pretty neat. Another creator, Prince O'Hakam, they use channel memberships so that people can actually play video games with the creator, which is also a neat benefit to get by giving money directly to your creator. You want to play some video games with your fans?
Will you join my channel membership?
I will.
So, Scott, how is your paper airplane making skills?
Amazing. I'm the best.
Really?
No.
We'll find out.
Let's do
'Cause
it.
I bet they're pretty good. Scott, you're an engineer,
I am.
right? Technically.
I kind of was.
Yeah.
I mean, haven't run a lot of production code recently.
So that means if I can engineer a better paper airplane than you, does that make me an engineer?
It makes you a certain kind of engineer.
So if I win,
Yeah.
I want to sleep in this trailer
You want to sleep in that trailer?
Yeah.
I mean, for how long?
a night. I'll go first.
All right, let's do it.
I'm nervous.
Oh boy, that's really good.
That was not very good. That went straight down.
No, that was good. I don't think I got anything on you. Here we go. All right, boom. I guess I'm sleeping in the airstream tonight.
All right, Scott, can we have just a moment of real talk here for a second? Some of these features have taken a little bit longer than I think a lot of us have expected them to. Why?
First of all, I think they have taken longer than we wanted them to. I don't know if they should have. The second thing is that we really do try to make sure all of these things work across all of our different formats. So when we roll it out, we're trying really hard to make sure they work across live, across VOD, across shorts, and that means it takes us a lot longer to build them. And the last part is we very carefully prioritize what we think is the balance of things we should be working on. And so if we're working hard on, for example, making shorts really awesome on YouTube, it means that in some cases there aren't as many resources available to do some of the fan funding work, which are two great things for viewers and creators, and just trying to balance them carefully. And in the end, I agree from the perspective of a creator who really cares about fan funding, we have move more slowly than perhaps they would have liked. On the flip side, the perspective of creators who are starting to get started on YouTube via shorts, it looks like we have invested in a good way. And I think it's always a careful balance for us.
I think I'd prefer unfinished products to come out sooner, personally.
I seriously doubt that's true. I know what unfinished products. I know that people say that, but I'm pretty sure that's
Please,
not
we
true.
want more unfinished products.
Okay, good. We'll work on more unfinished products.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Is there anything that you think makes your fan funding products more unique or better than some of your competitors? No competitors in particular.
Sure.
Of course.
Of course. Well, okay, so we are multi-format. So we're not just about live, we're not just about shorts or short form video, we're about short form video and live and of course VOD. We have the opportunity to offer many things to an audience who are often looking for many things. For me, in the morning when I'm looking to just sort of like just relax for a couple minutes. I'll listen to Lo-Fi Girl in the morning live. In the middle of the day, if I've got 5 minutes to blow off some steam, it might be some YouTube Shorts. And in the night, when I'm trying to learn something, it might be learning from a learning creator. All those are different creators. All of them are not creating all those different formats. Everyone is sort of doing different kinds of things to satisfy, for example, what I'm looking for.
You should try listening to Stream Beats. too,
Yeah.
instead of Lo-Fi Girl. This is a really cool YouTuber made.
Yeah,
these
I
lo-fi
heard there's a
beats.
super cool YouTuber.
Yeah, there's a
who
really
does
cool
that.
one out there. You should check it out.
I see I touched a nerve there. I apologize.
So this is the coolest part of the conversation. There are fan funding features that translate across both platforms, like VOD and live and shorts. This seems like an advantage that YouTube has that no other platform has. Do you have any plans to, I'm trying to think of how to word this, to do more like that, to do more universal fan funding features?
Yeah, so our goal of almost every feature at YouTube is to make sure it works across the different formats. So something like channel memberships, we know obviously works across VOD. It's a channel feature, right? So it will work for anything that has channels. But for things like super stickers, obviously that's really about the chat, right? That's really about that the viewers are present at that time, that they're looking for some acknowledgement, that the creators want to acknowledge them with special emoticons or things like that. And that stuff is probably only going to work, near as we can tell, in a live experience. And so there's always going to be some parts of fan funding that are going to just fit into certain kinds of experiences. But our goal broadly, as a company and in support of creators, is to take every feature that will work for all formats. In fact, like from a software engineering perspective, we'd like just to build it once and have it work across all these different formats. We don't like building things that only work for a portion of formats or a portion of views, because we think that we're lowering the impact of that software and maybe be better to build something else. So we're pretty aligned with that. But that said, YouTube for us is really a bunch of experimentation, trying to figure out what works for viewers and what works for creators. And so we always start with the idea that we'll build something that will work for all of them. We test it out on a format, and then as it works in one format, we try to extend it to the other formats.
How much creator feedback would you say you listen to when it comes to designing these products?
Well, I mean, the short answer is a ton. We really live and die by, in the long run, satisfying creators, because they're the lifeblood of YouTube. And so from my perspective, every product feature gets nowhere without creator feedback. Now, of course, it's one dimension of feedback. We also really care about what viewers think. And so balancing what viewers think and what creators think is a bit of an art. And so I think the tricky part is we consider it all, but in the end we have to make some decisions about how to deliver the product.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I want to know.
Yeah.
Is there a particular feature that was directly implemented that you can think of because of feedback that you got from the community?
Oh, sure. I mean, gifting of memberships was something that we did.
You heard the hordes of people shouting for that.
I heard you shouting at me every day.
Gifted subs, gifted members, gifted subs, gifted memberships. I don't think I need to go into depth on that.
That we needed to implement that.
You're welcome.
But yeah, I mean, that's a great example of something that where creators told us we had to do better, and we did.
For creators looking to get started with fan funding, what do you think they should do first?
I mean, I think it depends on which kind of creator you are. I think if you're a live gamer or something like that, I think that obviously you can get started quite clearly with Super Chat or get started with channel memberships. I think if you're primarily a VOD creator, it feels like a lot easier to me to get started with channel memberships. You can really talk to your existing subscriber base and say, you can directly support me. You can even offer special perks after the fact, and like you can think about like whether you want to offer specific things to viewers so that they feel like there's something in it for them beyond just supporting their favorite creator. But broadly, that's my take on how to get started. And again, like I really think that a big part of this is experimentation.
Double or nothing.
All right, let's do it.
That was even further than your last one.
I think but it ended up in the same place.
It's close, yeah.
Let's see what happens. Nah, you did it. You killed it.
There it was.
Right, very good.
It was a good game.
Good game.
Scott, from one engineer to another now. Thank you so much for
thank you.
hanging out and talking with us today. If you guys have any other questions about fan funding and how to get started, make sure you check out the blog post. I'm Harris Heller. Thanks for watching. Nighty night.